guys, my name is Tejas Sudhakar K and I'm back with another video. So in today's video, what are we going to discuss? We will be discussing buyback of securities. What are we going to discuss? We'll be discussing buyback of securities. Okay, in the earlier video of mine, we discussed about section 68 of Companies Act 2013. That video was solely focusing on the company law. Okay, now here along with that we will be discussing about buyback regulations. It's not that today I will not be covering section 68. I will be covering, but if you want a detailed lecture or under an analysis on section 68, please make sure to go back to the previous video and watch section 68 in detail, and you can come back to this video, or you can directly watch this video. There is no issues, but the depth in which I would be covering section 68 would be less than what I covered in the previous video. Okay, so let's get started. So buyback of securities. Okay, what do you mean by buyback? Company will issue securities. Okay, let's say I'm the company and you all are the security holders. I had issued the securities to you. Now today I am purchasing those securities back. Okay, why are we doing this? There were multiple reasons: to increase the promoter shareholding, okay, to increase the earnings per share, to give a better value to the shareholders, okay, to prevent hostile takeovers. We saw a couple of reasons or the motivations why we will be going for buyback. Okay, now coming to section 68 quickly, what are the provisions? Section 68, 69 and 70. 68 to 70 deals with your buyback of securities, and these sections have to be read with Rule 17 of Company Share Capital and Debenture Rules 2014 and SEBI regulations, which we will be studying in this chapter, which will be applicable only for your listed companies. Okay, now what are the three sources of buyback? One is your free reserves, second is your securities premium account, third, proceeds from fresh issue of any shares or other specified securities. Basically, you will issue another set of securities, and whatever money that you get from issuance of these securities, you can be using it for your buyback purposes. See, when we are buying back, we'll need money, no? One to can come from free reserves. Second is security premium account, and which is pretty straightforward. Then the third mode is your money is coming from issue of another set of securities. See, let's say I had earlier issued class A, series A equity shares or series A preference shares. Now I want to buy back series A preference shares. I cannot again issue series A preference shares and buy back the earlier series A preference shares. I can issue series B, series C or another set of equity shares, debentures, does not matter. With those whatever the money that I get from those securities, I can complete my buyback process. Okay, then we had seen the definition of free reserves. Whatever is available for your declaration and payment of dividend, that is your free reserves. What part of your profits is your free reserves? That part of your profits which is available for declaration of dividend. Okay, now what are the conditions for buyback? First condition is articles of association should be authorized. Okay, articles of association should be authorized. If your articles are not authorizing you to go for a buyback, make sure to pass a special resolution, alter your AOA and then go for buyback. Okay, this is the alternate route where your articles are not permitting you to go for buyback. This is the another route that you have. Then now we have, is board resolution sufficient? Yes, board resolution is sufficient. Provided the buyback is less than or equal to 10% of your paid up capital plus free reserves. But whenever it increases 10%, okay, what are they saying? Whenever your buyback exceeds 10% of your paid up capital, but it is less than or equal to 25%, then you need special resolution. So overall, what is the crux of this? So maximum buyback that you can do in one financial year is 25% of your paid up capital plus free reserves. How much can you do? 25% of paid up capital and free reserves. If it is up to 10% of your paid up capital plus free reserves, sufficient. That is sufficient for us. We do not have to break our head any further. Board resolution is sufficient when the buyback is 10% or less than 10%. When it exceeds 10% but is less than and equal to 25%, then you will need special resolution, and there is no possibility to go beyond 25%. Okay. Then we saw the quantum. Now what should be your debt to equity ratio? Your maximum debt to equity ratio is 2:1. That is, let's say your liabilities, your debts in your company, your debts secured as well as unsecured debts is coming to, let's say, 1 crore rupees. Okay. Your equity should at least be 50 lakhs. This is your 2:1 proportion. It cannot go beyond this. So when your equity is 50 lakhs, your debt cannot be more than 1 crore. Okay. If it so just the thing is, equity gives the cushion to the creditors. You can understand the logic behind debt to equity ratio in the earlier video, so make sure to go and watch that video once again so that you understand the logic behind it. Okay, and it will help you understand your SEBI regulations in a much easier way, because there I have discussed why do we have the provisions that we have. Okay, then only fully paid up shares should be there. What kind of shares can be bought back? It should be fully paid up, and the gap between two buybacks should be maximum 1 year, and the period for completion of buyback is 1 year. Okay, so one buyback is completed, I have to go for the second buyback. The minimum gap between these two buybacks has to be 1 year, and the buyback has to be completed within 1 year from the date of the board's resolution or special resolution, as the case may be. Okay, now we will be methods of buyback, we will anyways be looking at it in the SEBI regulation, so we don't have to worry about it. And what did I say? Every time in the earlier video also I have stressed about it, buyback should always result in consequent reduction of share capital. Repeat it with me. Buyback should always result in consequent reduction of share capital. If I am doing buyback, my share capital was 10 lakhs, I have gone for a buyback of 1 lakh rupees, so my share capital should come down from 10 lakhs to 9 lakhs. There should be a consequent reduction of share capital. Without consequent of reduction of share capital, it is not even called as a buyback. So this is a mandatory aspect. And how do you make sure that there is a reduction of share capital? You will ensure that there is a reduction of share capital. How will you make sure? By extinguishing your share certificates. How? By extinguishing your share certificates. Okay. Then the buyback offer period shall remain open for at least 15 days, but it shall not be open for more than 30 days. I have opened my offer period. Now I have to make sure that the offer period is open for at least 15 days, but it cannot be opened for more than 30 days. So it cannot be open for 31 days, 35 days, 45 days, 60 days. Maximum how long can it be opened? It can be only open for 30 days. Minimum how many days? 15 days. Okay. If all the shareholders agree, then the buyback period can be closed before 15 days. So you totally have 5 forms here. Okay. SH, what are the forms? SH10, MGT 14, SH8, SH9 and SH11. Easy to remember. SH10 is your register of buyback. MGT 14 you will be filing whenever there is a special resolution, and letter of offer will be in SH8, and return of buyback will be in SH11. Okay, that's it. This is pretty much about section 68 of your Companies Act. Now let's start looking at your buyback. Now coming to our buyback regulations. What are we coming back to? Coming back to our buyback SEBI regulations. Okay, these are of course applicable only to listed companies. Now what are the conditions? The same, most of the conditions are similar as to what has been given in your Companies Act. What is the maximum limit? 25%. Okay, equity, then if it is equity, then you will be considering your paid up equity capital. Your debt to equity ratio should be less than or equal to 2:1. 1. And what are your additional conditions? No buyback to delist its shares or securities from the stock exchange. No buyback should be done. No buyback should be done to delist its shares or securities from the stock exchange. Okay. The objective of your buyback should not be delisting. If your objective of your buyback is to delist your securities, then go and comply with your delisting regulations. See, instead of complying with delisting regulations, what do these people do? They go for buyback. Okay, whatever is the obligations that the company or the promoters have in delisting regulations, to escape that, they will come to your buyback regulations, and they'll just complete the buyback and say that chalo, these securities are delisted. If that is your objective, you cannot do your buyback, and you cannot buy back from any person through negotiated deals. It has to be through open market, that is through stock exchanges, or through tender offers, but it cannot be through negotiated deals. What do you mean by negotiated deals? You and me sit across the table and we negotiate on at what price will I be buying back. This is more like a private deal that we do. Okay, that is not allowed. Okay, then no fresh buyback for period of 1 year. The same thing, the minimum gap between two buybacks should not be more than 1 year. Buyback must lead to consequent reduction of share capital. It must result in consequent reduction of share capital. All SEBI filings to be made only in the electronic mode, and it must be signed by CS or an authorized person. That's it. There's not much difference. The only thing that you specifically need to remember is this additional condition, where the buyback's objective should not be your reduction of share capital, but it should be only through your negotiated deals. Through what? Through your negotiated, it shouldn't be through a negotiated deals. It has to be either through tender offer or open market or through book building process. Okay. Now, what are the different methods of buyback? Through tender offer, book building process, or your stock exchange. These are your different modes of completing your buyback process. As of now, after April 1, 2025, buyback through stock exchanges is not at all allowed. It is not at all allowed. Then the sources of buyback, your free reserve, security premium account, the process, same as your section 68. Okay. Then buyback is not allowed through subsidiary company, through investment company. This is nothing but your Companies Act also has a similar provision that your buyback should not be happening through a subsidiary company, including your own subsidiary company, or through any investment company or group of investment company. If it has defaulted in repayment of deposits, debentures, preference shares, dividend, or term loan, then you cannot go for buyback. These are the 5 places where you cannot go for a buyback. Now coming to your actual SEBI regulations. Okay, now coming to your actual SEBI regulations. What is your first step? You will be appointing a merchant banker. Okay, and you will have to file with SEBI and stock exchanges. What will you be filing? The resolution that you had passed. If it is board resolution, you will file it with SEBI and stock exchange. If you have passed special resolution, you will be filing that special resolution with SEBI or stock exchange. Okay, then a public announcement has to be made. Who has to make the public announcement? Company has to make the public announcement in the newspapers. We have been seeing in multiple chapters what are the different newspapers: English newspaper, Hindi newspaper, and vernacular newspaper. Okay, which vernacular language? Where the registered office is situated. Okay, then you have to determine the offer price, opening and closure of the buyback offer, and the company finalizes the buyback price and the offer period. Then acceptance and payment to the security holders. Eligible security holders must submit their securities and receive the payment accordingly. It must receive the payment accordingly. Then you will file the return with ROC. We have seen those SH8 to SH11, 8, 9, 10, 11 and MGT 14, all those compliances. Now coming to your see, these whatever are these points that are there, These are the points that are applicable to every form of buyback. Whether you are going through, no matter which form, you will have to appoint a merchant banker. You will have to make a public announcement. You will have to file the resolution with the stock exchange or SEBI. Now, whatever we will be seeing from this point, that is from tender offer, these procedures are only applicable to tender offer. If you observe, there isn't much difference between tender offer, book building, and stock exchange. The compliances and the procedure is almost the similar. Once you understand the logic on how to understand these and remember these and why do we have these provisions, automatically remembering book building and through stock exchange mechanism is very easy. Okay, now what are they telling? Now they are talking about reservation. To whom? Reservation to small shareholders. How much should be reserved? Minimum 15%. Minimum 15% of the buyback must be reserved for the small shareholders. Okay, either it shall be based on the number of securities proposed for buyback or number of securities entitled based on the shareholding, whichever is higher. So how much will you reserve it for small shareholders? 15%. 15% of what? 15% of the number of securities proposed for buyback, number of securities proposed for buyback, or number of securities entitled based on the shareholding, whichever is higher. Okay, the board of directors till 1 working day before the record date. Now sir, what is your record date? See, every day shareholders will be coming inside my company and shareholders will be going out of the company. Okay, every single day new shareholders are coming and old shareholders are going out. So now, if this change is continuously happening in the shareholding, how will we ever determine who is actually entitled for buyback? So we will fix a date, and this date is called as our record date. Whoever is our shareholder on the record date will be entitled to what? Will be entitled to make an offer for buyback. Okay, he will be entitled for buyback if he is a shareholder on the record date. Is this clear? Okay, then, and record date provisions are also covered in your Companies Act, in your members and shareholders. Okay, where you can close your books of where you can close your register of members. Okay, so till 1 working day before the record date, the board of directors may increase the buyback price, decrease the number of securities proposed for buyback, ensuring no change in the aggregate buyback size. Okay, what can I do? I can increase the share price, I can increase the offer price and reduce the number of securities I will be buying back. So it will be the same. No, let's say I initially wanted to buy back 500 shares at 10 rupees. I wanted to buy back 500 shares at 10 rupees. How much will it come to? 5,000 rupees. It will come to 5,000 rupees. So instead of that, what will I do? I'll give them a better offer. At 20 rupees I would want to buy back, but I would only want to buy back 250 shares. Even then, my buyback size remains the same of 5,000. That is allowed. Till when? Till 1 working day before the record date. Till 1 working day. Underline working day. You will have to remember working day. Okay, is this clear? Then you have your additional disclosures. Okay, maximum price for buyback, all these needs to be disclosed in your explanatory statement. Now coming to the most important aspect of your buyback procedure, that is your disclosure, filing requirements and timelines. Okay, what should the public announcement shall be made within 2 working days from the date of declaration of the results. Okay, so what are they telling? Okay, so I have passed my special resolution here on this date. How much time I have? 2 working days. To do what? To make a public announcement. Where should it be published? English New National Daily, Hindi National Daily and regional language. Okay, And the same thing, whenever we are going for public announcement, the same has to be filed with SEBI and stock exchanges. How will you be filing it with SEBI and stock exchanges? In your electronic mode. And public announcement, what is the duty of stock exchange? Why are we filing it with SEBI and stock exchange? So that they become public documents. Now, once I file it with the stock exchange is obligated to disclose this information to the whole public. That is called as your dissemination. What is it called as? It is called as your dissemination by stock exchange and display on the websites of stock exchange, merchant banker and company. In these three websites, the details of the buyback and the intention of the company to go for a buyback should be disclosed. Okay, what is public announcement? Public announcement, who should be making public announcement? Company. When should it be making public announcement? Within 2 working days from the date of special resolution or board resolution. Then where should it be made? In English newspaper, Hindi newspaper and in a vernacular language which is having wide circulation at the registered office. Then simultaneous filing. What do you mean by simultaneous filing? As in, when I am going with public announcement, I will first file it with SEBI and immediately file it with stock exchange. All of these things should happen together. And what will, now we are talking about dissemination to the public. Who will disseminate? Stock exchange will disseminate. Who is informing stock exchange? Company. Company is informing stock exchange along with the public announcement. Okay, now filing it with SEBI, okay, within 2 working days from the record date. Within 2 working days from the record date, you have to file it with the SEBI. Okay, what should you be filing? Your letter of offer, certificate by merchant banker and declaration of solvency. These are the 3 things that you will need to file it with SEBI. Within how many days? Within 2 working days. Not from the date of resolution, not from the date of public announcement, but within 2 working days from the date of your record date. From your record date. Underline record date. You will file it with SEBI within 2 working days from the record date. Okay, whereas you make a public announcement within 2 working days from the date of your resolution, from the resolution passed. If you have passed board resolution, 2 working days from the board resolution. Where you will need special resolution, then 2 working days from the date of passing of your special resolution. Okay, so when it is through tender offer, no draft letter of offer is needed. That's it. Okay, that's the major difference between the other through book building and through stock exchange mechanism. Okay, then the offer procedure, the public announcement should include the record date, saying that, see, I have made public announcement. So first I'll make the public announcement. In the public announcement, I am telling the whole public that, boss, this is your record date. This is your record date. If you are a shareholder on this record date, you will be entitled for buyback. If you are not a shareholder on this record date and you become a shareholder after this record date, then you will not be entitled for buyback. This is your first requirement. Public announcement should include your record date. Okay, for determining the entitlement and names of the eligible security holders. Then you will have to dispatch the letter of offer. Dispatch the letter of offer and tender form to eligible holders. Whoever was a shareholder on the record date, I will have to dispatch my letter of offer and tender offer to the eligible holders. Okay, now I'll have to send my letter of offer. See, you are a shareholder in my company and I would like to offer you the opportunity to buy back your securities. I would want to buy back your securities. If you would want to sell your shares back to the company, then I will also give you something called as tender form, where you are tendering. You are mentioning how many shares are you ready to tender for the buyback procedure. Okay. Then offer opening date, it should be opened within 4 working days from the record date. So we saw the record date at 2 places. One is within 2 working days, within 2 working days from the date of record date, you have to file it with SEBI. and within 4 working days from the record date you will have to open the offer. Open the offer for 5 working days. Okay, acceptance of shares based on the entitlement as on the record date. Now there are two categories. One is your reserved category and general category. Reserved category is for your small shareholders. How much is reserved? 15% of the offer size, or how many shares are entitled as per the shareholdings. Okay, this is your tender offer. Now escrow account. How much? Now what is an escrow account? First let's discuss what is an escrow account. Escrow account is an account that is opened for a specific purpose. The purpose of that account is only for a specific purpose. If you are withdrawing money from that account, it has to be only for the purpose for which the account was opened. Now for example, escrow account for buyback. Now if you are utilizing the money that is there in your escrow account, it should be only and only for your buyback purposes. How much? If it is 100 crores or less, then it is 25% of the consideration. If it is more than 100 crores, then 10% above 100 crores. For example, if at all my buyback offer size is 150 crores. So there are two parts to it, 100 crores and 50 crores. So for this 100 crores, it is 25%. So at least 25 crores should be deposited in the escrow account. And for these 50 remaining crores, I have to deposit how much? 5 crores. How much? 5 crores. So totally I have to at least deposit 30 crores. I have to at least deposit 30 crores. Okay. Then how can the money in escrow account be? Either in pure liquid cash. Okay. Which has, okay, one is in your cash. Then is your bank guarantee. What is bank guarantee? Bank guarantee is saying that I know that the company has to pay all the shareholders the money. If at all the company doesn't repay, if the company does not pay you guys money, bank will pay you, and this is the bank guarantee that is there. Okay, either it can be in form of cash. If the company does not have cash, then you can go with bank guarantee. Then deposit of frequently traded equity shares. You will understand the concept of frequently traded shares in your SAST chapter. Okay, then you have your government security, units of mutual funds, and the combination of the above. What? One is your cash, second is your bank guarantee, third is your deposit of frequently traded shares, then government securities and units of mutual fund. Either individually these can form part of your escrow account, or a combination of all these together can form part of your escrow account. That is 5 crores is coming from cash, then the remaining is coming from bank guarantee, and a part of it is coming from government securities. That is allowed. Okay, so what is our basic understanding? Escrow account means what? Escrow account means only cash, only money that is there. No, escrow account can also include your bank guarantees. Okay, cash component may be in an interest bearing account. Escrow release only after the obligations are fulfilled. Whatever money is there in the escrow account can only be released once the obligations are fulfilled. Then a company opens a special account immediately after closure of the offer. Now we are not talking, now when I am talking about special account, I am not talking about the escrow account that we spoke about. Okay, so once the company has to open a special account when immediately after the closure of the offer, and deposits the entire consideration amount, 90% from escrow plus remaining directly. Okay, 90% what was in the escrow account. Let's say in escrow account how much was there in our example? 30 crores. What is 90% of this? 27 crores is 90% of this, plus the remaining amount directly to the special account. Okay, then is this clear? This is your special account and escrow account. And trust me guys, there have been at least one question from escrow account. What I always suggest in my classes is, whenever you're studying CMSL, especially CMSL, maintain a separate book where you are having, see, you will come across escrow account in multiple chapters. So make sure in that booklet you are having all the provisions of escrow account in one place, so that right before the exam you can quickly revise in 1 or 2 hours, and at least I can bet on this, at least one or two questions will come. There is a very high possibility that there will be a question from escrow accounts. So it becomes easier to score these 4 or 5 marks, and that's what probably might decide whether you will be passing or not, whether you will be scoring an exemption or not. Okay. Now, extinguishment. What do you mean by extinguishment? Extinguishment means what? I am destroying my share certificates. Remember, what did I tell? Every time there is a buyback, there is a consequent reduction of share capital. Okay, and the extinguishment should be done within 15 working days from the acceptance of the from the 15 working days from the acceptance of the tender. Now you would have tendered your shares and I would have accepted it. I have 15 working days to destroy the share certificates, but not beyond 7 working days from the expiry of the buyback period. If you look at Companies Act, they only talk about 7 working days. So once your buyback period is closed, you have 7 days time to extinguish your share certificates. But if at all you accepted, then you have 15 days time to destroy your share certificates. Okay. Then the particulars of extinguishment to be furnished to the stock exchange within how many days? Within 7 days. I have extinguished my share certificates. After extinguishment, I have 7 days of time to file it with the SEBI. How much time do I have? 7 days. I have 7 days. See, first thing, now here you will be remembering three timelines. One is your 15 days. That is 15 days from the acceptance of the offer. One is 15 days from the acceptance of offer. But this 15 days cannot be beyond the 7 working days from the closure of the buyback offer. Okay, 15 and 7 is clear. Then coming to your extinguishment is to be furnished to the stock exchange that I have extinguished so and so share certificates within how many days? Within 7 working days, within 7 days. Here we are only talking about days, we are not talking about working days. We are not talking about working days. Okay. Then this certificate to SEBI within 7 days should be signed by merchant banker, 2 directors and your secretarial auditor, and all the securities bought back must be extinguished within 7 working days after the expiry of the buyback period. Dematerialized shares should be extinguished as per SEBI Depository and Participant Regulation 1996. Form SH10 has to be maintained by the company. You remember register of buyback, then you had SH8, SH9 and SH11 along with your MGT 14. Okay, this is your buyback. Okay, if you look at open offer, open market, most of the procedures are similar to what is there in the tender offer. Okay, see, even here it's the same, 15 working days, then it should be extinguished and physically destroyed. It's the same, it's similar. It is the remaining provisions are very much similar to your earlier provisions. Okay. Okay, so you guys can go through the remaining provisions, so that is through book building and through stock exchange. Wherever you have any doubts, make sure to drop them in the comment section and I would be happy to help you out. And these notes will be attached in the description, will be available for you to download in the description down below. Until next time, see you guys, bye.